Hey everybody, I'm so glad you're with us for this week's episode. We're coming to you from far south Louisiana, and that is the mighty Atchafalaya River. It's home to some of the best bass fishing that Cajun country has to offer. We're going to show you a few details, show you around in case you'd like to make a trip and catch some of your very own. Glad you're with us. It all starts right now. Fox Sports Outdoors is on the air.
You're watching the only program with weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southeast region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors.
The Atchafalaya River is really an amazing place. Now, as you can see, the river's right here in the background. In fact, we're located right now in Morgan City, Louisiana, far southern part of the state. But it's not really so much the river itself behind me that holds the key to all the good fishing. Now, yes, there are some fish in the river, several different species, and there are some bass out there. But on this week's episode, we're going to take this Tracker Pro Team 195. We're going to venture out into some of the ditches and canals and estuaries and ponds and lakes that are in the Atchafalaya River Basin. It's just a tremendous network of some of the best bass fishing the state of Louisiana has to offer. So we're going to head on out and do that. While we're doing it, we're going to take you around your local region for this week's fishing reports from our expert team of insider reporters from lakes, rivers, and bays where you live, both fresh and saltwater. They're going to bring you this week's reports. So we're going to drive a little bit north and show you a little bit around the Bayou Magzel area and the Bell River area on the other side of the spillway. But then the real key is we're headed down to Bayou Black, which is located out near Amelia, show you some of the unbelievable marsh that's out in that area. So right now we're headed for the boat ramp. Let's get things started with your weekend planner.
Hello everyone. The Solunar tables are indicating fair game fish activity for both days of fishing this weekend. Peak morning hours will take place before sunrise and again later in the day at 4:35 on Saturday and 5:33 on Sunday. The sun will rise at 6:19 and set at 8:37. And we just had a new moon, so evening skies will be mostly void of moonlight. We're coming right back with fishing reports from throughout the area. Plus, I'll return with Chad Ferguson to answer a question about catfishing on this week's Ask the Pro feature. Stay with us.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Lou's. Feel the difference. Gene LaRue and Bobby Garland. We know bass and crappie from heads to tails. Gulf Shores and Orange Beach, Alabama. Plan your fishing vacation and catch the details at orangebeach.com/fishing. And by GLACIER Glove. Stay outdoors longer with our gloves, hats, and shades.
Made it back out. And there is a largemouth for you, right there. Got one. What have we got? Little bass. A fighter here. Are you done? He's done. All right, there's a little one for you right there, but it's a fish, and it's a beautiful thing fishing the marsh. Welcome back, everybody. Made it back out, and there is a largemouth for you right there, and a dark gold, beautiful looking bass right there. Let him go back. See you, bud. All right, well, let's get you oriented a little bit to this area. There are hundreds and hundreds and thousands of square miles of water to fish here. Let me kind of get you the general lay of the land. The Atchafalaya River kind of bisects right through the middle of this entire basin of water. You've got Magzel Bayou, the Bell River. On the other side of the levee and on the other side of the intercoastal waterway, you've got Bayou Black, which is just a whole network of ditches, drains, small lakes, ponds, just a big wide open marsh. It's kind of where we are right now as we're over in Bayou Black. One of the little keys you want to look for is tidal current. There's not a lot of tide here, but what there is dramatically impacts the fishing here. So you can actually see back in behind there, there's a lake back there, and there's a cut that comes out and it drains into this little canal that I'm sitting in. And right at the mouth of that is right where that bass was sitting. We'll talk about water, clarity, and some other factors a little bit later, but that gets us started. Got a bass right there, and we'll get re-rigged on a little plastic worm. I'll show you all the gear we're using at the end of the show. We'll get back to fishing, see if we can catch it.
Hey folks, Captain D here with your Carolinas report, this week brought to you by the Crazy Sister Marina. Remember, the leader in water sports along the Grand Strands for years. We're right here on the Marsh Walk. We can take care of all your needs on the water. Stop by. Check out all our great charter boats, our private rental boats, as well as kayak tours or eco tours. We can do it all right here. Visit crazysister.com for more information. And we're going to talk about the flounder on the nearshore reef. Great time to get out and target flounder on those nearshore live bottoms right now. 30, 40, 50 foot of water, you're gonna find a lot of flounder starting to stack up. Bigger flounder show up on those reefs this time of the year. Gulp and summer flounder are gonna be your two biggest species out there on those reefs. Good live baits, Carolina rig, jig head, artificial bait works great as well. Gulp shrimp will work just perfectly around those reefs. Get on top of the structure, fish right around it. Same way you're going to find those spade fish that are out there on those nearshore reefs right now. It's a great time to target those spade fish. I was out in North Inlet Reef a couple years ago. You remember the great episode we filmed? The bigger spade fish are showing up. You can get out with squid, jelly balls, or also shrimp and get those fish chummed up to the side of the boat and have a great time right now along the coast and on these artificial reefs that we have in North and South Carolina. This has been your Carolinas report. It's brought to you by the Crazy Sister Marina. Remember, fish smarter, not harder, and keep your chaos organized.
There's one. Got him. What an acrobat. All right, there's another one. We're on to something. Not big, but let me explain a little something to you. This place is not a big fish place. It's a numbers place. You can catch a lot of bass in the Atchafalaya River Basin. And a lot of them are going to be that size right there. Just a lot of fun to catch. But if you're looking for a big trophy bass, this is really not it. If you catch a 3 to 5 pound bass here, that's a big one for this place. Most of the bass you catch here are going to be from 10 inches to 2 pounds. That's going to be your average bass here. The reason you come here, it's for the experience. How many places can you go and fish a place that looks like this? I want you to just look. This is one of the bassiest looking places you could ever go. You've got cypress trees and cypress knees. You've got willow trees. You've got backwater lakes. You've got every kind of aquatic vegetation, but not many places you can go that every place you throw looks like it ought to be a bass. What a great, great place to come fishing. There we go. There's one. Getting trolling motor. There we go. There's one. Getting trolling motor. Come on. All right. There's a little fatty right there. Look at that little dude. All right. Well, we're starting to put a little something together. I'll tell you a couple little tricks I'm using today. Bayou Black, Atchafalaya River Basin, South Louisiana in Cajun country today. See you, buddy. We talked about water color, and most of the water down here is fairly murky. But if you can ease your way around in some of these little canals and some of these drains and little back lakes and find water that's clearer than the rest, that's going to be one of your keys. So we are in an area where the water is actually mixing, and I can show you a quick little look here at what it looks like. But we've got clear water back in that lake, muddy water back here in the canal behind me, and where it's mixing is feeding ground for bass. The other thing, believe it or not, is wide and expansive area as this is, it gets fished a lot, and these fish see a bunch of different baits, but they don't see that very often. That's a little Jean LaRue tattletale worm. It's a little 8-inch worm. I've got it rigged Texas rigged. I don't see that very often.
This portion of the show is brought to you by the state of Mississippi, where fishing fun is year-round and where the Mississippi Gulf Coast offers some of the best inshore angling and offshore adventures anywhere in the world. So start your next fishing adventure in the true South, Mississippi.
Well, offshore fishing along the coast of Mississippi has really turned on. The offshore fishing for snapper has been red hot. Lots of limits of red snapper that's now open to anglers are being caught. These fish are in 40 to 80 feet of water. They're taking cut pogie baits, and there's really not much of a problem catching pretty good sized red snapper limits these days. But what a lot of anglers are overlooking is there's some great fishing for mangrove snapper as well. That season's open. There's a lot of fish to 10 pounds, but they're a little more shy than these red snapper. And you've got to use long fluorocarbon leaders, a small 1/0 circle type hook, and bury it inside the bait. Triple tail also is starting to show up along the coast of Mississippi and also into Alabama in Mobile Bay particularly. These fish are caught around channel markers and floating debris. Most of these triple tail are going 4 to 10 pounds. They'll take a variety of baits, especially live shrimp, and it also will hit lures. Night dock fishing for redfish has been very good in the Mississippi and Alabama areas. And over in Georgia, Captain Jack McGowan out of Savannah, he says that trout fishing has been very good for nice fish. These are 2 to 4 pound fish. He says there are some reds and some flounder around and plenty of blacktip sharks in the sounds off the coast of Savannah there in Georgia, but the tarpon are just not really there yet. It'll be another week or two before they turn on. Well, that's it for the Southeast coast. Get out in the water and take a youngster with you when you go.
You know, if you're going to come here to South Louisiana and fish the Atchafalaya River Basin, you're going to get used to fishing around the reptiles. This is the most, I'm going to invent a word, this is the most gatory place I have ever fished. I mean, they literally are swimming all over the place. Now, that's just a little baby, but there's some big ones in here too, but you better get used to fishing around those if you're going to fish here. Man, it's wildlife all over the place. You're going to come fishing in the swamps of South Louisiana. Man.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by MotorGuide's new wireless and easy-to-use XI3. XI batteries powering the world forward. Waypoint Marine, the Gulf Coast's leading saltwater boating specialist. And Strike King, designed by the pros, fished by you.
Well, look at what I did. That's a big one for the marsh now. That's a big one for the Atchafalaya Basin. There's one. Got him. Look at this fish. This is a real fish here. That is a real fish there. Don't jump, don't jump, don't jump, don't jump, don't jump. All I want to do is show you to these people. Look at what I did. That's a big one for the marsh now. That's a big one for the Atchafalaya Basin. What a gorgeous fish. Look at that specimen. Gold color. Look at just the colorations on that bass. Big old mouth. These are native fish here, by the way. The Louisiana Wildlife Department does a great job of keeping all their fish stocked. But these are the plain native bass. They're not the cross with the Florida species. You can tell by how long and slender their bodies are, but he's real healthy, been eaten. What a great fish. All right, that's the one I've been looking for right there. That's a big one for this place now. I'm gonna let that fish swim back. See you, buddy. If you're coming to the Atchafalaya River, have a good fish finder with a good GPS system in it. You can and you will get lost if you've never been here before, especially over here in Bayou Black and in the marsh. You've got to have a good GPS. I use the Lowrance Hook 2 system here on my Tracker Pro Team 195. And the other thing is you want to lay down a trail. I've laid down a trail everywhere I've been, so I know how to get back where I launched, which was back in Amelia. If you want more information about fishing in Louisiana, travel here, things to do, bring the kids, bring the family. We're not far from New Orleans and my favorite food on planet Earth. You can go to the website, putting up on the screen right now. You can get lots more information And I think they'll even send you out some information there, so go to the website. All right.
Hey guys, this week's Tennessee, Mississippi, and Alabama Fishing Report is brought to you by the Henry County Tourism Authority. You can see everything they've got going on at fishkentuckylake.com. Let's start this week down in Mississippi, and we're going to be on SouthEAST Lake, and it's big crappie time. It's not the numbers that we were catching a little while back, but it's big crappie. We're spider rigging, bright colors, chartreuse and black, big bites. Not as many, but big ones. Now let's jump over to Alabama, and let's do something a little different and go to the Coosa River this week. Early and late are the deals right now with topwater baits. Your walking baits like your Sexy Dog, KVD Splash, or maybe a buzz bait. You can literally just go find those little current breaks, shallow cover that obstructs the current, and throw those topwater baits around and catch giant Coosa River spotted bass. It's a great time. In Tennessee, we're going to talk about two different things this week. We're going to start in Northwest Tennessee at Reelfoot Lake. My buddy was giving me all kinds of reports of catching just tons of big bluegill and big crappie and catfish right now. Not only is it a great time, fun time, lots of fish, it's an awesome place to take your family. Enjoy the scenery, the dining, the accommodations, everything there at Blue Bank Resort. Now let's jump over to Dale Hollow, and we're going to go night fishing for bass. Up the Obed River arm is my preferred place to go, and I like to throw a black and blue or a black ½ ounce or heavier spinnerbait. On a dark, cloudy night, a black blade. On a moonlit night, a gold blade. I also like to back that up with a black and blue ½ 3/4 ounce jig with a black and blue Rage Crawl trailer.
At the heart of Kentucky Lake is a special place known as Paris, Tennessee. It's a place where fishing, hunting, dining, shopping, and family fun are all served with a side of Southern hospitality. We hope you'll join us soon and experience this world by the water.
There's one. Little one. You know, I mentioned little bass. Headed into this next quick commercial break, I just want to show you a quick little montage of a whole bunch of fish we've caught, because we've caught lots and lots of fish, a lot of small ones, but constant action since we got here. We'll be back. Atchafalaya River Basin in South Louisiana in just a minute.
You can always watch our latest episode on the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. Catch up on past episodes by clicking the archive button and learn about fishing techniques and new gear at our how-to page. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter for new fishing videos every day. Simply search for Fox Sports Outdoors and click the like button on Facebook and follow button on Twitter. And watch a new episode every week on any device by downloading the free Waypoint TV app on your phone, tablet, computer, or smart TV. Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by NITRO Performance Fishing Boats. Champions aren't born, they're made. Mercury Outboards, go boldly. And Lowrance and the new Hook 2, the world's easiest fish finder.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's get right to your Ask the Pro question for this week. Kevin wants to know, what should I use to chum or bait an area for catfish? For the answer, we asked catfishing expert Chad Ferguson.
Chumming is a great way to draw in big numbers of smaller channel catfish, and you'll catch a lot of fish when fishing areas that are chummed. One simple solution is to go to a feed store and get high-protein cattle cubes. Just take a few handfuls of those, throw them in the water, and they'll usually draw the catfish in. An even better solution is to use a soured grain. I like to use wheat, but other smaller grains will work as well. Just throw some of it in a 5-gallon bucket, add some water, and then over the first few days, continue to add water as the grain absorbs it. In about a week or two, when you take the lid off, you'll notice that the smell just about knocks you over, and that means that it's ready. Get out on the water, just throw a few cups into a general area where you're going to fish, and it'll draw the channel catfish really quickly if they're in the area.
Thanks, Chad. If you want some help from one of the pros, simply go to foxsportsoutdoors.com and follow the Ask the Pro link to submit a question. Now it's time to find out who wins this week's Big Catch of the Week.
Time right now for someone to get their big fish photo shown on television. Here's this week's winner in the Big Catch of the Week contest. He's Braden Carlisle of Sharpsburg, Georgia, with an 8-pound, 9-ounce largemouth bass he caught at Stewart Lakes, Georgia. If you'd like to have your big fish picture shown on television, Go to our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com, click in the big Catch of the Week area on the right side of the homepage, and follow the instructions to send us your photo. Next up, here's some of the gear that you'll need if you want to come here, fish some of this marsh and some of this swamp, some of the largemouth bass you saw us catching on this week's show. It begins with my new all-time favorite Lew's reel. This is the Lew's Team Hyper Mag. It is an incredible low-profile reel. It's built of titanium. It's got an externally adjustable centrifugal brake system that keeps backlashes to a bare minimum, even with light baits like we were throwing today. It's got the speed keeper that allows you to hook your hook on without scratching your reel and leave your bait tied on. And it's got the speed dial, which lets you see which size line you have spooled on at a glance. Now, the baits we used were real critical, and the bait that I found these bass bit best today was the 8-inch Jean LaRue Tattletale Worm. It was a June bug color and then kind of a purple and brown color, as you see here. I had it Texas rigged with a little small 3/16 ounce worm head weight. Here are some other baits you'll need to bring if you come here. From left to right, a Strike King buzz bait to buzz across the top of some of that vegetation, a Strike King spinner bait, and the key here is willow leaf blades to come through the grass better. And then the Strike King Pop and Perch. It's a frog type bait, but it makes a popping, gurgling type action, again, for fishing that vegetation. I can still vividly recall the day more than 50 years ago. I was riding in the passenger seat of my papa's 1965 Chevrolet pickup. We were passing a steam generating plant. He looked over at that steam evaporating into the air and said, "Your life is like that. It passes by in a big hurry." He's exactly right. In fact, there's a Bible verse in the book of James that says your life is like a vapor. It's here for a little while and then vanishes away. That time has passed by in a flash. I'm now over 60 and I have kids in their 30s now. Here's the takeaway from all that. Live every day. Live in the moment. Enjoy the good stuff while you can and let go of all the bad stuff, because we're only here for a little while. In closing, I'd like to thank a couple of guys who are very critical to helping us make this episode. Bill McCarty and George Shaheen are two local tournament anglers who fish the basin all the time, know it like the back of their hand, and put us on some of the great areas where we caught the fish today. We could not have done it without their help. Thanks, guys. We really appreciate it. And you never know what you're going to find. We found a great little restaurant here in Morgan City. You sure wouldn't know it by the outside, but it's the #1 ranked restaurant on TripAdvisor. We had a great meal there. That's one of the reasons why we love traveling so much. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode from the Atchafalaya River Basin in South Louisiana. Till next week, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.